Okay, Jose.
Okie dokie. They're saying it could rain on Sunday. That's pretty exciting. If it really happens. It's at 80%.
Really?
Yeah, showers on Sunday. We'll see if that really happened. I know that the exciting news today was the little earthquake up at Santa Rosa. Last night, I guess. I thought that was the most interesting thing today on the news.
Good evening, my friends, and welcome to Wednesday night live stream. It's been about 3 weeks since we've been here. We missed a week.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
It's the second and fourth Wednesday, but this month there was too many Wednesdays. They added an extra Wednesday. Of course, our work is about the mystery, the magic of the star Tetrahedron, the mystical marriage of the divine masculine, the divine feminine, and as these counter-rotating triangulations move in rapid movement, it opens up a sacred doorway within the very middle of the star tetrahedron. And of course, the star tetrahedron is then vibrating and moving around us. It is created of consciousness and light, imagination and light. And as it is then moving so rapidly, the doorway is within the center of the heart chakra. And it opens a doorway back into the realms of void, spirit. So this is an image of the star tetrahedron around a persona. And then within the heart chakra, the doorway opens back into the realms of source. And arising forth as the breath of life is spirit. And so there are three aspects to our creation. One is the silence of the mind, the focusing of light, which is the true masculine. The other is imagination and feeling, which is the feminine. We imagine, we feel that which we would choose to create. And then arising forth from out of the open doorway is the breath of spirit. And those three uniting then holographically create reality that then precipitates into physical form. And we're doing that all the time, but mostly unconsciously. It's whatever the mind is resting upon, it's creating. It's if we're worried about things, we're creating those worries. If we're feeling joy and happiness, then we're creating those things to meet us. And so we're always creating reality. But at the same time, to become a conscious creator is the work of the star tetrahedron, to really know that I can focus the mind in its pure silence. I can imagine and feel with such beauty and clarity, and then arising forth, spirit will inform it and bring life. The one thing I wanted to talk a little bit about tonight is that the soul, which is the being that you already are, it already is a pure jewel of living light. So source refracted itself into, of course, billions upon billions of tiny refractions. And each one of those is a perfect emanation of source with a unique quality. Just like when we hold a prism within the sunlight, it becomes the rainbow of ray of colors. Well, each of us is a particular ray of energy that is refracted from source, and that is the pure quality of the soul. The soul, then, in its purity within a fifth, six-dimensional time frame, is seeking to reflect itself within form, because that's what Source is doing. Source, God, is seeking to reflect the majesty, the mystery of creation within physical form. And we see it as life in evolution, but in fact, it's really Source learning through individuals and through many different levels of consciousness how to reflect more and more of itself within form. And so the soul then literally takes a facet. So if you can imagine the star tetrahedron, it's a multifaceted triangulation. And just like if we had a diamond and we took one facet and we then drop that down into time and space, that becomes a particular embodiment, a lifetime. And the soul, along with all the other souls that are in relationship with this divine being, as well as the personality, they all come together and they then create the circumstances, the situations of the embodiment, the emotions of the family unit, the culture, the particular location? Is it going to be in maybe a graceful place like America, or is it going to be a tragic place, possibly like the Ukraine? Simply based upon what the soul is seeking to learn. At the same time, then the racial as well as the archetypal energy of the heritage of the individual is brought forth. And all of that then is reflected and then created to be then energy fields around that perfect facet, that perfect jewel. We call that perfect jewel part of us that is then living within form from 0 to 7. We call it the inner child. It's idea of that part of us that is joyful, creative, imaginative, adventurous, excited, enthusiasm in its purity. And that's the purity of the soul. But when we're put into racial and archetypical and cultural places that don't reflect that, we then feel lonely or sad or frustrated, angry, unhappy, rejected. And so those are then coverings that become clouds of energy around this perfect part of that jewel. And then we experience emotion, emotions of fear and sadness and loneliness, unworthiness, unhappiness, grief. But that is what the soul is seeking to learn about as it drops itself within the worlds of form. So there's no error. There's nothing that is, so to speak, wrong. It's simply the soul is saying, we're going to now find great information within this particular lifetime. And for myself, I was dropped into a circumstance, a situation that was much like that, somewhat tragic and difficult, almost died very early. I am very psychic and intuitive, and so that was part of that which I am as a child. And so I felt so much going on that it was so painful that I just completely shut down and then experienced the feelings of worthlessness and rage and anger as I grew up. But that was part of the things that I got to work through, to feel those emotions and then to go through them and find, well, what is that part of me that was literally created to feel that way? Well, it was this, what we call the child within us. And as I was then able to feel the emotion, but go through it and then love that childlike part, I learned to love myself profoundly and deeply and unconditionally. And as we then do that, all of the darkness that is covered over that child, that faceted jewel like part of us, just like smoke, it disappears. But then we have the great understanding and the information about when we experience that within the world, we then have compassion, we have understanding, we're able to bring forth tools and information, healing practices to help others. And so it's always a continual unfolding of more giving and grace as we learn from these experiences. So, again, quite perfect. So, the key to really enlightenment is to love all aspects of yourself. It's easy to love that which is the joy and the magic and the happiness and the peace. And so, those are the feelings of the magical child. Whenever we, though, experience an emotion in our lives, any emotion that ever comes up in our life, it's simply a signpost that is being projected out from the child that says, there is a part of us that we do not yet love. And again, nothing wrong with that. It's simply information. If we're willing, as the divine soul we are, through our meditation practice, and particularly through the dynamics of the star tetrahedron work, we can hold the mind steady, focused, bring forth the quality of love, which is the soul. And then as we bring that living light down inside the body and we feel the emotion, we can feel ourselves slipping through it. We find the child that was hurt, that was covered over with some negative emotion, some racial archetype, some archetypical history within their DNA. It doesn't matter what it is, it's all simply information that can be changed. And the way it's changed is we then bring forth the light of the divine mind. We then focus upon the new feeling, the feeling of love and happiness and light living within. And it literally begins to change the DNA within the body. This is the new science of epigenetics, that when we focus the mind and feel profoundly love and peace and happiness and joy, the cellular body begins to recreate itself. If the mind is resting upon loneliness or unhappiness, suffering, anger or frustration, be it either within or believing that it's something out there that's happening to me, we then, through epigenetics, we then create the physical body to be diseased. That's all dis-ease is, something that is not yet loved inside of self. It's information. It's simply the childlike part of you through the soul calling to you, the personality, to bring the soul into the body in your meditation, in your golden light work, to feel the emotion, to taste it, to put it on, not become it, not move to emoting it or having to act it out, but simply quietly sit and feel it. Feel it dynamically. But then as you feel it, you can see that you can slip through it. And that's when you find the child that was, so to speak, damaged. It's not really damaged, it's just covered over with ignorance. The jewel like part of the child is still perfect. It is joy, creativity, imagination, adventure, waiting to really come back into life in its purity. And as you then are doing that each and every day, you then find there is a greater feeling of love. You begin to cherish all aspects of yourself. The body begins to heal. There's more light now living literally within the body, more golden living light. You feel more grounded, more dynamic, which allows you then to bring more of the light of the soul in, to ferret out another level of this emotion that might be subtly hidden within the bones, within the tissues, within the DNA. And so we then, every day by doing our meditation practice, we're coming into light activation. And we know in our work that this is the new paradigm that we're moving into. And so many of us have had experiences in childhood where we've been really maybe hurt deeply, or it's our racial archetype, or we feel still lonely, or we are thinking that things in the world are bad. Whatever we're experiencing as emotion, even in the world, we think it's Ukraine, we think it's the Capitol riots, whatever we might feeling this emotion, it's always something that we are quietly projecting out of us. Because when the emotion is healed within, our perceptions change dynamically. We become more intuitive. Our feeling nature becomes more alive. And so when we look into the world and we see things before that we thought were tragic, we're able literally to pierce through them to find what's inside of every circumstances and every situation. A soul that is playing a part to teach itself about becoming enlightened. And so there's no error. There's simply life revealing itself, life flowering. It's like a rose. One day it's a very beautiful rose. The scent is a perfume of great beauty and grace. The eye loves this particular rose, but then finally it begins to deteriorate and die. We don't mourn the rose. We don't say, oh, this is tragic, because we know there's going to be another blossom. But at the same time, if our perceptions are really highly refined, we look at the deteriorating rose and we simply see light beginning to leave. There's a beautiful movie called The Golden Compass. I don't know how many of you have seen it, but when anyone in the Golden Compass leaves the body, you simply see sparkles of living light going back into the ethers. It was a very profound movie for me to see, because it validated what I see. When I see what we call death, when I see what we call destruction, I see light going back to that which it is source, back to the soul in order to recreate itself as another living flower of life. And so there's no sorrow. There's no fear. There's no worry. I don't fear for my own life. I never worry in an airplane. I never worry about COVID. I worry about no thing because I've learned to find where was worry within me. It was a little boy that didn't feel loved. I found that I trust implicitly life and spirit. Why? Because I found a little boy that didn't have trust with his parents, with life all around him. But as I then created a living, loving relationship with him, and he then literally was born back in and through me, and I became, if you will, that childlike magic. I have implicit trust within the universe. I know the source, God, I am in creation all around me is only going to bring me more love and grace and happiness and peace and prosperity. I don't worry about the climate change. I'm always sending more light and love and glory to the hope that it's going to become more, balanced and aligned. But I don't worry that it's going to be taking a turn of maybe some, difficulty. I don't let my mind go there. It's not worth looking at because you're only going to, with your mind, then send energy to it, which is going to create it. Hold your mind steady upon peace and love and joy and prosperity and happiness and goodness and grace. The body will reflect it with more light embodied. You will walk around with ever more light literally emanating from you. This is enlightenment. That's all that word means. You have so learned to love yourself. There's no shadow of other programs around you. And the light that you already are, the living jewel of the soul, is now shining light from you to literally everything and everyone in the world. So it becomes exceptionally peaceful and quiet and quite beautiful. So one of the things that helps us in our star meditation technique is our breath work. The reason being because when we have formulated the star tetrahedron, the doorway that opens is within the heart chakra. And it is our breath that we are breathing. It is literally summoning spirit from this open doorway within us. Yes, we're breathing oxygen, but equally and almost more important, you see, we're bringing then the breath of life from inside out. And it is the breath of life coupled with the mind, the masculine, the heart of the feminine imagination that creates our reality. We become a creator God, literally living with more grace and glory because we know how to create our reality. So in the breath work, it's a very deep belly breathing where we expand the belly and then the diaphragm is going down, then the lungs are filling with breath. But that in total, very dynamic inhale, we're then breathing spirit from the open doorway. We hold for a couple of counts, and then as we exhale, we watch sparkling, effervescent, dancing golden light flowing through every cell in the body and out into the world. A couple of moments of quietness, then once again back to a very deep in-breath. I find that I was able to really hone and refine this breath as I was learning how to do it gardening or driving, eyes open, you're just breathing very deeply. I now find in my meditation that my breath is always part of where my consciousness is. I'm watching and feeling the breath arising forth very quietly. I'm observing the star tetrahedron moving and its spinning vortice around me. And then as the breath of life comes in, I sit quietly and then let it then rest within my mind. I then focus the light and then feel glorious golden living light flowing from me, increasing at every meditation. And then once again, quietly watching with the breath, I'm drawing in spirit, observing and watching the star tetrahedron and its golden living light movement, and then breath out, simply seeing, feeling, source emanating. So it becomes a very dynamic, continual practice in our meditation. So it's not something we just practice here and then let go of. We learn to know that it's part of our daily practice in our meditation. So let's go ahead and do the breath work for about 5 minutes, if you will. So as we sit quietly, we simply feel the body relaxing. Very simple process, feeling the body relaxing and letting go. And then we begin to breathe in deeply, diaphragm down, filling the lungs, breathing in spirit from the open doorway within the heart. Holding for a couple of counts and out breath, sparkling, effervescent golden light shining all around. The spinal column is nice and straight. Imagine a string at the top of the head gently pulling you up. And deep in-breath, summoning source. Observing sparkling, effervescent, living sunlight dancing all around. Let's do the breath for about 5 minutes. Mind focus upon the open doorway. Knowing and feeling, I am summoning spirit source into this dimensional world. And another breath or two. And slowly coming back into the now. During the day, if an emotion begins to overshadow us, if we just take a moment, stop, and do the breath work for 2 or 3 minutes, we'll find that the emotion is dispelled. It's something that the mind is simply seized upon and is now, with this focus, has created the emotion to grow. It vibrates out and then creates something in the world to reflect it back to us. And so if we go to the breath work and then bring in the dynamics of spirit that can lift and dissolve anything within this dimensional world, and as we then bring it in and then breathing deeply, we then can feel the emotions simply melting away. And we come back to center, equanimity, being equal with life once again, and then once again off on a new trajectory of love and joy. So it's good to practice the breathing, driving, walking, sitting at your desk, wherever you can. It's a very dynamic practice that then it takes it into your meditation, and you feel ever more dynamically the living river of life that begins to flow from inside out, source. So the star tetrahedron meditation, it's two aspects of it. One, focusing the mind, and that is one part of our meditation. We're training the mind to be silent. It's usually very dynamically scattered here and there. But when we keep bringing the mind back to the imaging in, and feeling the star tetrahedron around within us, it's again built of consciousness and light. We find that the mind then begins to be trained to be ever more quiet and silent. And as the mind is more silent, it becomes, again, the projector light that holds focus upon the image feeling of the star tetrahedron. It's felt ever more dynamically within, around, and from the open doorway, we can feel spirit arising forth. We then image in creation, golden liquid living light emanating from us, and it is so. So I'm going to take you through the formulation of the meditation. We don't have to be too concerned with the movement of the triangulations. It is said that the upper triangulation is moving left to right, lower triangulation right to left. But in fact, they're moving in a very dynamic in and out, around, up and down movement. So it's not really good to get too lost in, is it moving this way or that way? The important part is that you can feel the open doorway within the heart chakra, and then spirit, you're summoning it with the breath into this dimension. So let's go ahead and close the eyes and feel the body relaxing. Every time we take a breath, deep breath, we can feel the body relaxing and letting go. Breath is life. It brings life to the body, to all the cells and tissues, both the life of oxygen and the life of spirit. Breathing deeply, we relax. We bring our attention between the eyebrows And we draw a line straight back into the approximate center point of the head, the pineal gland, the seat of the soul. And we ignite the light. Imagination and focus, we feel, see the light of the soul. Light is filling the mind and filling the brain with living sunlight. I am the light. We focus the light to the heart chakra, the sternum, and we illuminate. Imagination and feeling. We imagine and feel the star tetrahedron. Whatever size feels comfortable. The size of the chest, all around you. And the star tetrahedron is light activated turning. And as the triangulations are moving, it opens the sacred doorway within the heart chakra. The doorway is within you. And with each in-breath, you are breathing spirit, the light of the soul, summoning and calling it forth into this dimension. It touches the facets, the jewel of the spinning star tetrahedron, and becomes living light, radiant, sparkling, and effervescent, dancing through every cell and tissue of the body. I am not the body. I am light dancing through form, healing and renewing every cell and tissue, bringing light into the world. I am the light. Let's sit quietly together and I will join with you. And bring us all into an energetic wave of unity consciousness. I am the light. Breathing deeply, spine erect. And very easily now, the breath of spirit moving within, through, and all around. Allowing yourself to slowly come back. More and more into the now. The more that we can find the time to practice, of course, our meditation, the more it hones and refines the dynamic properties of it within, through, and all around. Hopefully we can meditate twice a day. As we well know, the world is moving to a place of chaos. Nothing wrong with chaos. From out of it, then life can be re-architected. But if we have chaos within, then chaos without will then be mirrored as something that is not very pleasant within, around us. So we want to make sure that as we're moving forward, that we really take charge now and empower ourselves to be what we already are, the perfect soul, perfect, that is mirroring itself within form. And as we love the emotion, slip through it, and love ourself, we then become the embodiment of the soul. This we call enlightenment. We become the living light. The body becomes light activated, and we create into this new paradigm a living, divine human being. This is the wave of the future. So I want to thank you for being with me tonight. Quite marvelous meditation and very dynamic. Shout out to my friend in Green River, Stanford the Magnificent. Hello, Stanford. Long time no see. And to Mary, Leslie, Diane, my friend Nelson, Charles, all of you, dear beloved, thank you for coming and dancing in the light. Blessings, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. If you have any questions or if I can assist you in any way, please let me know. All right, my loves, thank you very much.